Good morning, Patriots and Wolfman fans. Welcome back to my channel. So check this out. I got a couple things to talk about, as I usually do. You know, that's why I do this. It really saddens me to say that my home, the great state of Texas, you know, the capital city, Austin, is the way it is. There's a news article I read the other day about a woman. She was a mother of 3, and instead of being at home with her kids, you know, spending time with her family, she was out in the streets protesting. I don't know what went down. All I know is that she took a rubber bullet to the forehead, and now she's in the hospital getting stitches. You play silly games, you win silly prizes. That's all there is to it. Another story that's come out recently, again from Austin, is a Black Lives Matter protest. It always is. Young man was shot. A man, as the story goes, approached the group of protesters aggressively in his car and then shot one of the protesters. This protester was a, mid-20s white guy. The news did make a point to say that he had a black wife. I don't know why they felt a need to emphasize the fact that his wife is black. Not relevant to the story or anything really at all. But let's go with that. Here's what happened, though. Not only was this young man protesting out in the streets where this car was trying to drive. I mean, if you think about that, who belongs in the street more? Car or a person? The car. And people are trying to get places and you're out there protesting. You can't get mad when somebody approaches you violently or aggressively with a car. You can't be mad. You shouldn't have been standing in the street. Anywho's, evidently, this kid was walking around with an AK-47. Now, while it's not illegal in the state of Texas for him to own this weapon, nor is it illegal for him to walk around with this weapon openly. It's perfectly fine. Here's the problem. And they left this part out in all but a few publications. When this driver approached the intersection, when he drove up to the group of protesters he's trying to get through, the protesters did what they typically do in those scenarios, and they surrounded the car. And from what I understand, they attempted to pull him from his car. The younger dude with the AK-47 pointed it at the driver. So what was the driver's response? He opened fired on the kid with the rifle. Opened fired on him and killed him. And there's been a lot of people who are speaking up saying, oh, this is just wrong, blah, blah, blah. He's exercising his Second Amendment rights. No. You see, there's a thing, there is a law, and I'm pretty sure this is in Texas. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time looking it up. I got other things to do today. But there's a thing called menacing. Yeah, you're perfectly allowed to carry, either concealed or openly, as long as you've got the licensing when it comes to pistols, or have a rifle. What you cannot do is point it at people. Rule 1 from the shooting range is do not point the weapon at anything that you don't intend to shoot. If you're pointing a weapon at something, you have the intent for that next step to be pulling the trigger. Now, the only time that there's only 2 scenarios where this may not be true. And that's with military and police. Yes, military and police use their weapons. They will point their weapon at a threat. They hope to God they don't have to pull the trigger. But the threat is there. It's an open threat to whoever is on the receiving end. I will pull the trigger if I have to. So, what was this kid threatening this guy? Was he threatening the man? That'd be the only logical notion, is that he was openly threatening this man's life. So the man in the car was well in his rights to rock that other dude's world, and he did. Again, you play silly games, you win silly prizes. The thing is, guys, we have a huge problem, and a lot of this also comes from the right too, is that people are trying to escalate things and make things worse. They're going to threaten to carry guns, armed protests, this, that, and that, the other. Look, even to my brothers on the right, hey guys, I understand we have the Second Amendment, but let's not try to escalate things any further than they need to be, okay? I understand people get violent. I understand some of these situations, some of these, Trump rallies and stuff like that, they're supposed to be a peaceful assembly. Sometimes they turn violent. Sometimes you have protesters show up and things get out of control. I get that. But here's the thing. Don't escalate for no reason. The kid running around at the Black Lives Matter protest, why did you have an AK-47? And don't tell me, oh, I'm just exercising my Second Amendment rights. No, you went there with the intent to threaten somebody or bully somebody for the intent of, doing that so you could get your way. You wanted to be threatening. Don't walk around with this look that you're threatening unless you are fully prepared to get shot in return. That's the outcome, guys. Especially in places like Texas. All right? You're going to walk around with a rifle, especially if you point it at anybody, get ready to get shot. That's a clear possibility. I don't care what side you're on. Use your common sense. Plus, honestly, if you're out there and something like that does go down, what defense do you have? You can't sit there and go, oh, well, we were just peacefully protesting. You can't say that anymore. Okay? If you're pointing guns at people, you are not peacefully protesting any longer. That took away any semblance of a peaceful protest. And you know what? Let's say, for argument's sake, that all of the rest of these people were out there just peacefully protesting. First off, get out of the damned intersection. Generally, people that are driving down the street, going from A to B, work to home, home to work, whatever, they don't give a damn about your protest. They're just trying to go about their lives. And really all you're doing is you're annoying people. You're pissing people off. So they're going to be less likely to hear you out and hear what you have to say. Okay? That's just a thought, first off. But secondly, let's say everybody else was peacefully protesting. There was no violence or anything like that intended. Nothing was happening. But you had this one douchebag that walked up with an AK trying to be all big Billy badass. What you need to do is turn that dude around and send him home. Say, no thank you. We don't want you here. We don't want that kind of negative attention. Because this is what happens. So, there you go. Again, you play silly games, you win silly prizes. And you know what? All of this stuff stems from, it's the same thing we've been arguing about now for a good long time. And the idea of reparations and stuff, like, none of that's new. That's been around for a very long time, longer than Trump's been in office. It's just that since Trump has got into office, it's become there's been a larger focus on it, okay? Here's the thing. We have got to stop looking at our past through the lens of modern day social morals and social values. We can't do that anymore. Everybody walking around, and usually, honestly, and I'm really sick of it, there's a lot of self-righteous white people walking around. And I'm not I don't really care about your race or anything, but if you want to play the race game, let's play the race game. A lot of self-righteous white people walking around talking about Black Lives Matter, and we're living on stolen land, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You were descended from Europeans. If anything, you should be, if anything, if you truly believe what you believe, you should be hanging your head in shame and keeping quiet. All right? That aside, look, let's tackle these one thing at a time. Slavery. It happened. We all recognize that it was a thing. It did happen, and we all agree that it's a bad thing and it shouldn't happen any longer. And it doesn't. Not in the United States, it doesn't. Not in most of the civilized world, it doesn't. However, there are places in the Middle East and in Africa that slavery is still widely practiced. You want to talk about slavery, you want to abolish slavery and do something about it, you need to go over there where there's an actual problem with it. But here in America, we understand slavery was bad. We're taught about whole slave stuff in school. All of us know about it. We're all taught about it, okay? We agree it's bad. We need to quit looking at the past and screaming and crying about how these people back then were such bad people. No shit. Of course. We know this. They did bad things. There was even good people who did bad things. But you need to understand, when you're looking through history, you have to look through the mindset of the time, okay? At one time, and I hate to admit this, but it's the truth, at one time, slavery was legal. The racial superiority of one group of people against another group of people, and that differs around the world depending on what groups of people, what region of the world you're talking about. Because even in Asia, there are some Asian cultures that believe themselves superior to other Asian cultures. So keep that in mind. It's not just white versus black. It's a wide spectrum. But at one time or another, that was widely believed. And racism was widely accepted, practiced, and legal. And, a lot of that was worked into law. Jim Crow laws. That's just how it was. Now, when it comes to living on stolen land, I hate to break it to the Native Americans out there. I love y'all. I really do. I have a whole lot of respect for the Native American community. All of them, all of you guys. It's a fascinating culture. Here's the thing. Anytime y'all walk around and talk about we're living on stolen land, you're mispronouncing the word conquer. So here's the deal. And again, it's uncomfortable truth, but it is a truth. Groups of people conquering land owned by other groups of people that's just how things were. In fact, most of this entire world was formed just that way. The countries that exist, most if not all of them, were formed that way. They were formed by one group conquering the land and taking it from another group. That's just how it was. Now you can get with that and just go, you know what? It is what it is. It doesn't affect my life. Or you can bitch and moan and cry about it and be depressed and upset for the rest of your life. And some of you people are okay with being oppressed, depressed, upset, and mad and whatever for the rest of your life. To the Mexican people, you say we're living on stolen land. Again, conquered land. We went to war with y'all and you lost. And you lost these territories. That's how that kind of thing worked. So understand, things were different back then. Now I'm not saying we were right because we conquered it. And I'm also not saying that's the be all end all. But here's the thing, it is what it is. We remember the past because we learn from our mistakes. So we know it's not right to go conquer other places anymore. We shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong. Slavery is wrong. Racism is wrong. Conquest of any territories is wrong. What's right? We always focus on what's wrong. What's right? We know what's right today. peace, love, unity, all that good stuff, all that good tree-hugging hippie stuff is the right thing. You know what also is good? Patriotism. The love of our country. Standing in defense of those we love. Willing to take up arms against those who would harm those we love. And that should include all of us as a nation. That it means Native American people, we're right there. We invite you. Be with us under this awesome banner. Be with us. Black people, come on. Be part of the team. Come on in for the big win. We want you on our team. Latin, Hispanic people that are, in this country, citizens, come with us. Asian, citizens of Asian descent, Indian descent, Middle Eastern descent, American people of all colors and creeds, join up with the big group. And let's stand together as a people. We understand that things in the past happened. We get it. You can stop harping about it. Understand that there's a group out there that keeps trying to get you to live in that past and keeps you horrified by the actions of people in the past and keep you focused on that, because while you're focused on that, you cannot see them rob you blind of the things that you have, the freedoms you have today. If you continue to focus on all the wrongs of the past, they're going to take away your future. But there's a group of us, and we proudly refer to ourselves as patriots. You hear that word a lot. You hear patriots, you hear 3%ers, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different, names for these groups. But here's a big part of what we stand for. We don't want you to stay in the past. We want you to be part of our future. We want to have a wonderful American nation, a great American nation in the future for us, for our children, for our grandchildren. We want you to be a part of that and help us build and maintain that and get over the heartbreak of the past. That's what we want. So, in closing, because I really don't have much else to say, for all of you out there who are still talking about slavery and reparations, for all of you who are still out there talking about we're living on conquered land and we need to give it back, for all of you who are still out there protesting in the streets because you believe that this is still Jim Crow era United States, it's full of systemic racism, I invite every one of you to come with us and progress forward. Stop living in that past. Recognize your rights, your freedoms, your liberties. Recognize that you have that, you've achieved that, you've obtained that. And that our country wants you to have that. Recognize that the group of people that you are fighting for and voting for, they're the ones who keep reminding you, hey, remember slavery? Remember slavery? Remember how bad that was? Remember how Native Americans, remember the Trail of Tears? Remember those people. Those are the people you're fighting for. Those are the people you're voting for. The people you want that are trying to get you on their side are the people who go, hey, yeah, we remember. Let's do better. That's the people we are. That's who I am. That's who all of us are. We want you on our side. We want to unify all the people. But you don't want that. All you want to do is fight. All you want to do is argue and scream and cry. You want to be bitter and angry for the rest of your life? You know what? Be my guest. But you're not going to have much of a future in this country. Sorry to tell you. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. By the way, in case you were wondering, the flag behind me, no, it doesn't have extra white stripes. That is a curtain behind the flag. This flag is hanging up temporarily as a backdrop. There's normally just a curtained window behind me. So I just noticed that myself. That's why I'm bringing it up. But anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. And I don't usually ask you to do this, but you know, hey man, if you like my videos, you like my content, feel free to like and subscribe, and share this video with your friends, your family, and anybody you think needs to see it. I have no problem calling somebody an idiot, calling somebody a moron. I'm very unapologetic for the things I say. I believe what I believe, and I'm going to be honest, brutally honest if necessary, but honest nonetheless. So I hope you guys appreciate that, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Keep coming back for more. Until that time, you guys stay awesome. Keep your head on a swivel, and you know, just take it easy, I guess. That's all I got. You guys have a good one. Later.